Well, I mean, if I were to go for my wishful thinking, of course, I would say I would love to see a sound, good global standards protecting privacy. But that really sounds like a very unrealistic vision. So that's our long-term goal, our target. But we have to work in realistic terms, being aware that we won't get into global standards anytime soon. So the first step is a very strong European regulation that covers the companies that target European citizens from abroad, right? So that's the very first thing that has to be changed. We need European law that covers everybody who targets us here, no matter where that person, that company is based. So that's the first step. And then there is a very important instrument called Convention 108, which is international instrument, which covers more countries than just European Union. And that instrument has to be modernized in line with the pending data protection reform in the EU.
Yes, the Convention 108 is a Council of Europe convention, but it's a Council of Europe convention that is open to any country in the world that meets these standards. And I believe that that is still the best standard as a starting point for global regulation. By the way, Kasia, it's not only the problem with non-European companies that target Europeans, but it is also a big problem about cloud data that are stored on servers outside the European Union. That's going to be one of the biggest problems in the next few years.
Including access of law enforcement, that goes slightly beyond the commercial sector.
Yeah.
A huge, increasingly big problem is access to our data by other governments, which used to be beyond the data protection regulation because it used to be law enforcement related, right? So European Union never regulated in this area, and now we have to face that challenge that our data being stored in the US is very likely to be accessed by US government, and so on and so forth.
Well, actually, and you may not, I only realized it very recently, under all the EU laws, including the Lisbon Treaty, national security issues are totally outside the competence of the European Union, which means that even within the European Union, EU laws cannot touch the activities of the national security agencies. The Council of Europe Convention and the European Convention on Human Rights, in theory, cover it, but in practice it's very difficult to apply those rules to those agencies.
Yeah, we have very broad exemptions. Even in the newly proposed draft regulation, directive, we have a huge exemption for national security, which really means that no standards apply there, apart from the standards that member states and law enforcement themselves are likely to.
And national security agencies are increasingly using private sector data. In the past, they had a fairly limited role and fairly limited amounts of data. Now they would like to suck up absolutely everything they can get. They scrape everything off Facebook, and they get everything from credit card records to passenger name records to anything you can think about. That's a big threat to our privacy and to our autonomy.